and welcome to another episode of the Above Average Joe Show. And our guest today has worked on several projects, such as Halloween, which has given her a huge boost of fame. Also seen her in Darkest Minds, and worked on Insurgent and Allegiant, Doom Patrol, The Originals, and Pitch Perfect 3. We have a great, wonderful, talented stunt woman, MARIAN Sing. And as always, I am your host, Joe.
Yes, you are, but you're our idiot.
Thank you for joining us today, MARIAN. How are you doing?
I am doing great today. It's so cool to see you. Usually I only see you on sets in passing because you're corralling people and making them do what you want them to do.
It is nice to have this more relaxed atmosphere and less rushed atmosphere to where we can actually have a conversation other than, so, what else do you got coming up?
Yeah, exactly. It's always in passing, and it's never, in kind of in-depth conversation, so it's on the way to or from wherever we're going.
And then somebody calls your name, and then the conversation's done.
Yeah, exactly. And now with the whole stunt thing, it's like, I don't even get to hang out on set because they shuttle us off to our trailers, or we have to go back to wherever we're going, and we don't
practice choreography.
Exactly. So, it's been really cool, and it's such a difference, but I kind of miss talking to everybody, and now with the makeup artists and the hair people that I've seen on so many sets.
That all fawn over you.
Well, no, I don't get to say hi as much because we're always being shuttled around, and it's like, now, okay, whatever you say, I'll do now, fine. But I love it. I love every minute.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah, a lot of that.
And you never know when that waiting's going to happen, so you don't know when to start those conversations.
Exactly.
You're
and
just
it's
expecting to leave.
Yeah, you're getting into this really cool. Oh, okay, yeah, and then you have to go, and it's like.
Well, we're going to settle down and we're going to have a chat for a while.
I love chats. Yay. Chatting, yay.
And let's see, first thing I want to find out from you, everybody has a different story working in film. Some people, they take classes, some people went to school, some people accidentally answered a want ad, which is actually my story, which I will tell at some point. I accidentally got into it answering a want ad. I didn't know what I was going for.
Wow, that is amazing.
All they said was, no experience necessary. I was like,
I can do that.
Why not?
Oh my God.
But how did you get started? Did you do tumbling while you were a child? Would you watch shows and want to be a stunt person? Or did you go to school training specifically for it? Or did you just happen to stumble it? No pun intended, to stumble into it.
I get paid to stumble a lot.
How did you get into the film industry and get to where you're at?
Oh my gosh, I've been on stage since I was 4 years old. My father was in public television, so I have been on a set since I can remember. I went to acting school, actually. I have been to acting school where I studied classic Meisner method and improv and auditioning and all that happy jazz. But when I was on stage, I just, was singing, dancing, playing a musical instrument. I've been in a band. I toured for 4 years, almost got a couple of record deals. I've done a little bit of everything. So what happened with all of this mayhem that started the Atlanta film community thing was I have been a martial artist for about 25 years now, and I studied Chinese Northern Praying Mantis Kung Fu, and I just got all obsessive compulsive about it, and I went to class 6 days a week, twice a day, for the first 10 years, and actually for the first 14 years, maybe longer, I haven't done inventory, but I became a teacher after 10 years. And the Grand Master told my teacher that I was going to become a teacher, and I was like, but wait, I'm happy just coming to class. I don't really need to be a teacher. I was really not even thinking that I was ever going to be a teacher. I thought I was just going to stay at my school and do class 6 days a week until I die. So when I did that, I started choreographing the Kung Fu forms, and that got me into choreographing fights. And then I had this whole independent film thing, and I was like, okay, well, I'll do this, that, and the other. And somebody said, well, you really maybe get involved. It was a simulcast of the Oscars. And the whole film community got together, and they said, well, why don't you try some stuff for Atlanta pages? There's a casting page that I know. And that introduced me to CL Casting.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
I've heard
started.
of them.
Haven't you?
Great company.
Yeah, really great.
They have the best employees from what I hear.
They really, really do. I absolutely love Jamie to death, but not death. I mean, you know what I mean. So I went ahead and I contacted, because they were looking for athletic men and women. And I thought, I guess I'm kind of athletic. So I sent the thing, and they called like 10 minutes later, and they said, can you come for a fitting Monday? And I was like, yes, I can. So that turned out to be Mockingjay 2.
Okay.
Yes,
Nice.
that turned out to be Mockingjay 2, where we were all in a fiber optics plant with 1,500 of our best friends. And
So you started on Hunger Games right off the bat.
yes, I did.
That is a great place to start.
Yeah, it really was. And right from there, CL Casting says, okay, go straight into Insurgent. And I had the boot camp audition for Insurgent. And that was the first time I had to audition for anything. So that wasn't, plays. Because I went through theater. I've done classical training for theater. And I've done, all kinds of other stuff with that, my acting training. But
First film audition.
Exactly. So I did that, and then, wow, I made it. Holy crap, here comes Insurgent. And then the Core 10 Erudite Dauntless, we all got so close as a family because we had to fight to be there. We had to earn our spot. And we went through so much together as a unit, and we were just always together, and it was awesome, and it was great. And at the end of that, when Allegiant happened, we got sent into Allegiant from there. And it was so amazing to be that close with so many people for so many filming days. And because there were only 10 of us, we were with the stunt team, and we were doing all these things. And when I was in Mockingjay 2, I was right behind the stunt team when we charged the, Snow's palace, and it was like, oh my gosh, this sounds so cool. This is kind of really leading me to what I think I want to do. I think I'd like to do this stunt stuff, because everybody was so cool, and I know that, they're like, oh boy, here comes another person asking about stunts. Okay, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But then as they started seeing me in more and more things, getting closer and closer to the goal, they started talking to me more, and I mean, just really cool stunt people that were warm and open and talking to me. I decided, okay, I'm going to go for it. And I achieved uniondom, and that allows you to get one step closer to actually being a stunt person. And that was October of 2015 that I got my union card, and I said, okay, this is it. I'm going for it. And I feel so fortunate, and I feel so lucky that what has happened the way it happened. I know it's a lot of happenings, but it was just so... This has been a cool, crazy train ride from awesomeness that I've been on, and I just can't believe my luck that I've been exposed to so many cool people doing cool things, and I get to die horribly for a living. It's awesome.
Over and over and over.
And over. Impaled on a spike, dragged by a werewolf, shoot myself in the head,
And you had mentioned Insurgent training, which
Yes.
I worked on Insurgent also,
Yes.
but I didn't start until Amity began filming.
Yes.
Which was a little bit after the beginning of filming.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the training that you went through, I heard not horror stories, but I heard how strenuous and brutal that it was on you guys. Because it wasn't just like, oh, we're going to run a few laps, we're going to learn how to hold a gun.
Right.
They pushed you guys pretty hard.
They really did, and that's what brought us together. And the crew, all the people that were, watching us do what we did as a unit, they were like,
what were you doing, though? I'm curious, because nobody's ever told me what you actually did. They've always just talked in generalities. And I mean, were you pushing tanks together? Were you trying to flip cars? Were you body slamming each other? What kind of training do you get to be in a movie where everything is safe?
We had to learn to work as a unit, these people that didn't even know each other. So we learned moving as a group, moving in different formations, how to walk across different areas in proper formation, so that but this was all in 90-degree heat with 90% humidity, and we were all just like, it's okay. But we were put through, and there was a cut process. It started with 400 of us, and it got down to 10.
Wow.
And that's why I was like, oh, what do you mean I made it? Really? Really? Oh my God, I made it! Oh my God!
And was it led by the same person the entire time?
Duffy Gaver started it.
Okay.
He was a SEAL. And Alessandro Folchito
Alex.
And yes, and Dale Liner and Gary Watson wound up being assistants, even though they were there to audition with all the rest of us, and we all went through the same thing. But Alessandro is Italian Special Forces. Dale Liner is a SWAT cop, and he's also Black Ops. Gary Watson is a cop, and he's SWAT. So they all had practical experience. So Duffy Gaver looked at them and said, all right, I can use some experienced people to, help me weed all these people out. And I had been talking to them, and I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what their experience level was and all that stuff. And I was like, holy crap, this is real for real, And
That's gotta be so intimidating.
It kind of was, especially because they're looking at everything you do, and then you reline up at the end of each exercise that they have you do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, step forward, step forward, step forward. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
And it's very detail oriented too.
Yeah.
You think, oh, it's just a movie. No, they watch everything. They watch your finger placement on the weapons.
Yeah.
They watch how you're walking.
Yeah.
Make sure you're marching with the correct foot lengths and all this other stuff.
Yeah, you had to be able to bound with anybody you were paired with, and you had to be able to walk across terrain. You had to be able to move and use your peripheral vision to keep distance with everybody else in the line. You had to be able to clear rooms. You had to be able to do the Canadian peel-off. You had to be able to do all these exercises they taught you.
Canadian peel-off?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's not like rice
I'm
peel-off,
curious.
darling. It's not rice peel-off. You get in a long line, and everybody is covering a hallway, and as you move down the hallway, the first person becomes the last, and then the next person peels off, and then the next person peels off. But you have to remember.
I always just thought it was called rotation.
I know, right? And you have to be able to, first man, last man, you have to be able to let them know when the last man is in position so that, you can move on and do the next person and the next person and the next person. And you had to form clusters of people and be able to cover different heights, angles, everything like that, so that you could, clear rooms for real. This is not just movie stuff. They were teaching us practical things as a unit. And if you didn't fit the unit anymore, thank you very much for coming. And it was a lot of pressure. And by the last day, when you either come back or you don't, you have to go through everything that you learned. You have to show that you knew what you were doing from beginning to end. There were no breaks. There was no stop. There was no nothing. It's like, okay, next, do. Now do this. Now do that. Now do this. Now do that. And by the time it was over and they finally gave out the, green, super green, yellow, whatever, red, you got cut. Yellow, you had to prove yourself. Green, you still had to prove yourself. And super green made the, you made it in. And it's like, oh my God. So it was a really amazing experience to have to fight for a position in such a big field. I mean, I was sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, I'm a martial artist and I have done military stuff before with a security firm. I worked with several people in the firm, and they said, "You want to come to maneuvers with us?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, God." So that was
Why not? That sounds fun.
That was experience I had before.
That's my Saturday.
Exactly. Hey, some people go and eat brunch. I go and work military. So it was really cool because at that point you're just doing all these really cool things with really experienced people, and I just wanted to soak in everything because I've done military maneuvers, but these guys have been over there in the thick of it, and I thought, oh my gosh, what have I done to, be able to do this? And, I know some of it's the look. They had to make us all look right together. Yeah. And when we first walked on set at Amity at Serenby Farms, we were all lined up in our erudite dauntless uniforms, and we were all walking. The first thing I thought of was the Kill Bill. Dun, 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 chicka-ba, chicka-ba, chicka-doo, chicka-ba. And everybody that we walked toward, the whole crew we were walking toward, they were like, holy crap, you guys are intimidating as hell. And we were like, yay, we did our jobs, yay, intimidating, yay. So that was the Insurgent story, and I have no idea how I got so lucky as to be chosen to arrest Miles Teller in the stables at Amity, and just charge the hill, and it was, those were how we made our memories, and the core 10 of us still are in contact with each other today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're all family. We're still a family.
And I love how that happens in films so much. There are so many times where you end up with a core group to where you're on set together for 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, 2 months.
Yes.
There's been some long ones, and they become family. They become the people that you see in and out every day.
Yeah.
How you spend your time and who you commute with. And
Yep.
It just becomes it's very hard to describe unless you've been there or if you've been in the army.
Yes. And then when it ends, it
they're your
sucks.
platoon.
It sucks even more when it's over and you're like, really? This is all you need us for? Are you sure? Are you sure we don't have pickups? Are you sure we don't have this? Are you sure we don't have that?
And then when you get that call, hey, we need you to come back in December for reshoots, and we're going to bring you back with the other 17 guys, it's like, oh my gosh, yes, reunion.
It was a total reunion, and it was so awesome. But it was that was my first experience with a long kind of thing. I mean, Mockingjay 2 was 15 days, okay. But Insurgent, I mean, we were there for a month of filming days. And it was so awesome. The rooftop scene was amazing. We got to charge chasing after Shailene Woodley, and we had our guns ablazing, and then people did the zip line.
This episode is brought to you by the uppercase number 3. Ha 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 ha! 3! Ha 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 ha! 3! Ha 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 ha!
Was amazing. We got to charge chasing after Shailene Woodley, and we had our guns ablazing, and then people did the zip lining from the roofs and all that stuff, and those were stunt people. We did a lot of stuff with the stunt people.
And just so people know, they actually did zip line.
Yes,
that was not CGI.
No, it was not.
That was actually done.
Yes, they hooked up the rig the day before, and they tested it with sandbags. And then they had the stunt person, 3 people, do it.
Go across the Atlanta Marks.
They went across the Marks.
And I think they were, 30 stories high? No, it's more than 30.
Yeah, it's more than 30
The Marks
stories.
are way higher than 30.
Yeah.
Because there's 2 elevators because they're so tall.
Yes, and there were people down on the ground filming because they realized, because gunfire and all that stuff, and everybody was really interested, and it turned out that people were filming up to try to see the zip liners go across, and the people that were rappelling down the building, that was real too. And we just had such a good time charging down the stairs, and there was gunfire, and it was loud, and it was crazy, and everybody was looking at us like, you guys aren't reacting at all to this gunfire. What's up with that? And we were like, it's just gunfire. And they were like, oh, it's just gunfire.
This is Atlanta. This is what happens. This is a Saturday night.
Well, they were thinking, we're all jumping, having these reactions. It's like, military.
Yeah.
We kind of
it
don't
doesn't
react.
Yeah, it's not supposed to phase you.
No. So,
even if it does, it shouldn't.
That's right.
You have to just block it out because you're military.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it was truly an amazing experience, and it just gave me the bug. I was done. I was absolutely hooked, and it made me pursue the rest of my awesome journey that has been just like a roller coaster so far.
And one of your next big things that I saw you in, which I was completely not expecting, was Darkest Minds.
Yeah.
I was watching this, and no offense, I cheered when I saw you go down. Because I recognized you.
I remember you messaged me. You messaged me on Facebook Messenger, and you said, did I just see you die in Darkest Minds? I was like, yes!
So what was it like working on Darkest Minds and killing yourself on screen?
That was so awesome because I got to work with the stunt legend Jack Gill. He did Fast and Furious 7. He's been in stunts for 40 years. He's been fighting for #StandUpForStunts because stunts don't have a category in the Oscars.
Yes, which they really have needed to for a long
Yeah,
time.
and they're even trying to name it. Okay, how about action design? How about just anything? We don't even want to be on camera. A ballroom in some hotel somewhere. We don't care.
Stunt coordinator team, so you can take the whole movie of people.
Screen Actors Guild has it. Why don't we? Why don't the Oscars? Why doesn't the Academy? Well, I had a couple of theories about it, and I thought people still want to think that their heroes and their stars do their own stunts. So to wreck that kind of illusion back then was really important. But now, it's time. Even the stars are saying we need an Oscar category. So the principal
because they know
actors,
they don't do it.
Exactly.
They know how hard they work.
Exactly.
Actors like Keanu Reeves. I don't know if you've heard this story, but there are movies that he's worked on, and he buys his entire stunt team cars because he knows how hard they work.
Oh, yeah. He's an amazing human, and I think that people like that realize what we do and how far we go and how much we push ourselves. People have lost limbs to stunts. People have died from stunts. John
Literally.
Berniker, Walking Dead. Tragedy has struck, but to be on a set with Jack Gill, and I mean, just wow! Are you kidding me? Really? So I heard all kinds of cool stories that he told me about when he was doing location scouting in Afghanistan or Iran or someplace like that, and they wound up on the wrong side of the border, and they were having to get
Ooh.
flown out by helicopters, and I was like, oh my God, you're telling me this story and you're Jack Gill? Holy crap! I was totally fangirling for a second, but that was absolutely amazing to be working for him on something like that, and that he would trust me with that. And at the wrap party, I talked to the director, and I got to talk to a bunch of people that were on there, and they said, it's time for a female soldier to show up. And they said, do you know how rare it is for a female soldier to be in a movie and actually be seen?
Yes.
And I thought, wow, because I mean, the director was from Kung Fu Panda, and she wanted to have a quote unquote kick ass female on her set, and I was like, me? So I was really honored, and it was awesome, and to be able to, and the kid that I was doing that scene with, my gosh, he was a skateboarder,
Yeah.
and he wasn't a stunt guy, and he was falling down whenever I'd hit him with the barrel of my rifle, and he would just, I'd do a fall, and I was like, dude. Another story, I didn't have time because I didn't want to slow things down. In stunts, you never want to be the slow down factor. You want to be where you're supposed to be the whole time, within earshot of the coordinator, so that you can do what you need to do when they need you to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't put pads on.
Ooh.
I fell on my right hip all day.
Mm.
On gravel. All day. On concrete. It was awesome.
So halfway through the day, you didn't think, hey, maybe I should throw a pad
there was no
on, or-
halfway through the day. We didn't break.
Oh,
We took meal penalties.
It was one of those days.
Yeah, we took meal penalties. Yeah, it was a long day, and my boots were a size and a half too small.
And for those of you that don't know, that haven't worked on set or anything, meal penalty is when the director or producers or whoever's in charge makes the decision that everybody working does not get to take lunch, because typically you will have lunch around the 6 hours in, 8 hours in, somewhere in there, where everybody, because of their union and their union dues, gets to have lunch. But they can decide not to give you lunch on days and just pay a penalty and give you money instead of feeding you.
Exactly.
Which eventually you do get food, so they're not going to stop you from getting food. They'll bring snacks out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You just do not get an official break to take a lunch.
Right.
And I wouldn't say that happens often, but it happens enough to where everybody knows what it is that's working on set, and it's like, oh, it's meal penalty day. Great.
Yeah, and also when you're working for a certain number of hours and they bring in the pizza, the second lunch, then you know you're in for a long night. But yeah, so that was I earned that day.
And what did you do to prepare for that? I mean, obviously you can't grab a gun and shoot yourself to prepare for a death like that.
Yeah.
Do you watch videos on that? Do you have training classes that you can take on how to die properly on screen from different wounds, or how does that work? I don't even know. I'm asking honestly for myself and for everybody listening.
Sure. Well, that's where the acting class comes in. You have to put yourself in a person's shoes that's having their mind taken over by somebody who's lashing out, and you have to lose control of your body. What would happen if you lost control of your body? You aren't controlling your movements, so your eyes are kind of aware something's happening, but you can't do anything about it. And then there's this hopelessness that sets in as soon as you realize that your rifle is rising up and you've taken the safety off. Because I actually did have the rifle in my hand, I clicked the safety, and then I started raising the rifle. And you kind of have to have this not in control of my body, and then a little panic in the eyes, and then a resignation to this is really happening, and you kind of want to add layers to it. You don't know what's going to make it on film. You don't know what angle the camera's at. You don't know how close it is to your face, and you don't know, what is going to be kept. So every take, you do something a little different so they have something to work with. And you do a little more emotion, you do a little different speed, you do different things, but you kind of have to go there in your mind of, I'll never see my friends again. My mom's going to wonder what happened to me. What's going to happen to everything that I love? What's going to happen to my dog, my cat, I'll never see them again. I'll never see my mom again. I'm never going to see anybody that I know again.
I'm about to do listening to you talk about it.
And you have to go there in your mind. And it's just such you whip yourself up into a frenzy every take, so that when that camera starts to roll, you lose everything.
Wow. That is deep and heavy.
Yes.
And
On a lighter note.
on that note of suicide.
Super groovy, yay.
Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll take a breather. You guys can go ahead and take a breather, and we will be right back in a few moments after a word from our sponsors.
This week's episode brought to you by Your Grandma's Taxidermy. Are you widowed or having trouble sleeping alone? Your Grandma's Taxidermy can stuff, buff, and or fluff any of your deceased relatives. The taxidermy specialist, whose motto is, "We can stuff your grandma more than Grandpa ever could." Your Grandma's Taxidermy. We now have one great location. Just follow Main Street till you hit the big willow tree. Hang a left. When you see two cows standing by the fence, hang one more left, and we're just there on the right, next to the beef jerky warehouse.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had fun listening to our wonderful fomercials from our sponsors. We are back again with Marian Sing.
Hi.
And we are going to chat a little bit more about your stunt life and things you've worked on.
Super cool.
Let's go ahead and focus on right now the originals.
Yay.
And when you worked on that. Tell us about your experience on that set.
That was an awesome set, awesome people. I still go to that set because it became Legacies, and spend time with David Morizo, the awesome stunt coordinator there. We both do martial arts. We both do kung fu. He does a different style than I do, but it turned out that his teacher studied under my grandmaster. So we're like kung fu cousins. So I get to go.
That needs to be a title of a movie.
Kung fu cousins. But yeah, so I get to go and pick his brain when I have questions about anything, and he's an amazing stunt coordinator. When I did episode 1 of season 4, the season premiere, and episode 3 of season 5. Episode 1 of season 4 was amazing because the most cool wire pull I have done yet to date was percolating in the brain of David Morizo. It's at the end of a big fight when the Michelson clan is being resurrected, and I get dragged around an SUV by a werewolf. So it was 2 stages. We were in this warehouse that actually was from Walking Dead, which it was really cool. And they hooked up 2 different directional poles for this particular stunt, and we did it with, padded up, and I got the helmet on, you got the mouthpiece in, and they put pads down for the first, 8 takes or so, when we were rehearsing it. Well, I'm wearing wrestling shoes, and the pads are kind of tacky, and the first time they did the wire pull, my shoe got stuck in between 2 pads, and I went floop, and I wound up, my gosh, I wound up with the face, I went off the pads, bonk on the old head, and I was like, I'm good, but it was so stupid because, if the pads wouldn't have been there, it would have gone off without a hitch. But this is rehearsals, they're still trying trajectories and how much oomph to give the pull and all that stuff. They're jumping off these 6-foot ladders, and here I go, whee, and I'm flying. And when we did it for real, I had no idea, once again, you don't know how much of you is going to show up in the real thing. And when they filmed, they got these cameras, and they were right here in my face, and they were like, okay, you're barely alive, and you're trying to get into the car, and if you could just escape. And they attached the wires because I had to be in place for them to do the first pull. So they attached the wires to the SUV with gaffer tape that was loose because it had to break free so they could do the first stage of the wire pull. And I had to give it some tension to be on there. So it's like, okay, a little less, a little more, a little less, a little more. So you had to be just right for every take, or else, they couldn't use it. So when they did the first one, I think we did it that night. On the day, I think we did it maybe 5-6 times or something like that. But when they do it each time, I had leg cuffs on, and I had many different costumes because I didn't know how bloody I was going to be, and I didn't know, because each time you get pulled on that concrete, it's covered in metal dust. It's covered in like the dreck of the world, and I just came out like, so I had to do the fight. And then we had to do falling over, another person, and another person's getting thrown into you. And then I had to do the wire pull. So there were 3 different phases to this fight that we did. And so the first time they pulled me, for real on the day, it was around the SUV, and the angle, I wound up really, I was like, okay, you have to think about this, and there's so much stuff you have to think about. At the end of the pull, so you aren't in the shot, I had to curl up like this and roll so that I could get out of the shot, because you could still be seen underneath the tires, and I had to keep rolling. Not the camera keep rolling, but me keep rolling. And you get wound up inside all the wires and stuff, and it was such an amazing day. But they had to time the guy jumping off that ladder to the end of the first stage of the wire pull. Then the other guy had to jump off the ladder so it's not too early, so I don't wind up going under the wheels. Oh. So it was just everything had to be such, the timing was just amazing. And it was, when we did it at the end of the rehearsal day, it was awesome. And then when we did it on the day, I was like, okay, this should be just like rehearsal. Okay, just like rehearsal, just do it like that. And if you can do it once, it's an accident. If you can do it again and again and again without injury, it's a stunt. And that was the first wire gig that I did that I thought, oh, I gotta do more of this. This is so awesome. But they kept saying, pull harder. Can you make it faster? I was like, make it faster, yay. I'm going on the ride. And I was so happy. I was cheesing everywhere. I was just smiling my butt off, and it was just an amazing night. I had to act like I was dying, and I had blood all over my face, but it's okay. It was great.
It was for a good cause.
It was.
And then season 5, episode 3, I think you said it was?
Yeah, season 5, episode 3, they had to redo that. They said it was too violent.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. I got my neck broken.
Blood.
I got my neck broken.
And not literally.
No.
Okay.
As far as we know. But I got my neck broken. Another guy got his arm ripped off, and then the next guy got his head beaten over the top with the arm that got ripped off. Another guy got the heart pulled out. So it was a lot, and this was...
Yeah, for a tween soap opera. Yeah. That's a bit.
And it was in a nightclub scene, and everybody's feeding off everybody once the DJ kicks in.
Not literally, because they're vampires.
Yeah, it's a thing. Or is it?
Mm.
Yes, I know. Tune in next time. No. So that one was, we did all the things, and it turned out really well, but they couldn't keep all the things. So all you see is the back of my body and the braid that they put in, and my neck go like that, and that's the only footage that I got at the end of that one. I was like, oh man, but it's okay. You never, like I said,
you never know.
You never know, and you always hope that you're going to make it past the editing room floor, and that's the big heartbreak when you don't. But when you do, I showed up in the trailer for that episode, for the season premiere on episode 1, season 4, and I called all my friends. I made the trailer. Oh my god! Of course, that means that you're burned. Which means you've shown your face, you can't come back for that season. But I came back next season, and they just showed my back. So that was fun times on episode 3, season 5.
And then you also got to work on Pitch Perfect 3
Yeah.
with one of my favorite actresses, which I don't know if I should admit this, but I have liked her as an actress since Twilight.
Ooh.
I remember seeing her on Twilight, watching the movie, and I had... Okay, admittingly, to this, I had read the books because my niece wanted me to.
Of course. Oh, it's the only reason. That's the only reason.
She got into it, and she's like, oh, you should read these books. I think you'd really like them. And this is before it became a big thing and before the movies were even talked about. And then we went to go see the movie together and watched it or whatever. So anyways, with my niece getting me to read the books, then watch the movie and stuff, I watched Anna Kendrick on screen, and there was something about her I could just tell that there was something, it's that X factor that people talk about, that you just know that she's ant more talent than this side role that they're giving her right now.
Right.
And I could just see it. But you got to work stunts with her on a scene.
Yes.
And it is a major scene from the film.
Yes. It's
that
very
you
cool.
can mention it, and all those people... Yeah. Seen that scene. It's not just we were walking down the street and somebody tripped.
Right. No.
This was...
I got to work with another stunt legend, John Copeman, and Jennifer Badger was the stunt coordinator, and I got to test Anna Kendrick's harness and work with the rigging crew when they jump off the boat. With the big explosion and they jump off the boat. I got to test her harness so that she would be safe.
Did you get to test the explosion too?
No. No. But, that's a matter of superimposing over, so they weren't in, that's why they felt well enough to let them do their own stunt on that one.
And when you're testing it for them, do you work with the actor or actor, I'll use as both genders,
yes,
and let them know, okay, this is what you want to do, this is how things are going to be, or is that something the stunt
That's
coordinator does?
That's what the coordinator does.
So you have no interaction really with what's going on with that, you're just testing,
right?
And they bring her in to do what he says next.
Yeah, Jennifer Badger ran the show, and I also you're going to love this because I didn't, there was a dance number that the stunt people got invited in to do, standing behind. I was standing behind Anna Kendrick.
Oh, wow.
Doing the dance number.
Jealous.
Yeah, it's a thing. At the Army base. I was in Air Force base. I was one of the Air Force military guards at the montage for the training.
Huge number.
The training montage. Yeah. So that was my other thing that I did. Besides just testing the rigging and helping with the rigging stuff, the blowback from the plane with the parachute.
Yes.
I helped rig that with John Copeman, and I brought him stuff, and he said, thank you. So that was honor right there too. So yay.
And then after all of that, most recently out of all of this, has been, I guess it's a sequel in many forms.
Yes.
And people do take it as being part of the canon instead of kicking some of the movies out, which they have.
Yeah.
For Halloween.
Halloween 2018, H18 as it's known. Yes, that it was really, really cool. And it is a direct sequel, ignoring the rest of the timeline after Halloween 1978. The original Halloween, this is 40 years later, but it is in direct line. None of the other sequels exist. So they are not brother and sister. They are, this is all about 40 years later, he's been locked up in a mental institution, prison. And, Jamie Lee Curtis wants to face him once and for all and take him out because of how he's ruined her life and all this stuff. So she has PTSD and she goes through all this stuff. And I was the first person to be killed by Michael Myers' signature knife.
Making you a new Scream Queen.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? It's crazy. It's crazy. At first I thought, I didn't even know I got the gig. First of all, I didn't know what it was for. I was driving and I was going through the mountains and I got a phone call and I answered the phone. He says, yeah, hey, this is Ron Hutchison. And I was like, another stunt legend. Oh my God, Ron Hutchison. 40-year stunt veteran. I mean, the guy's amazing. And he's like, I didn't know if you wanted to play with us. And I was like, wait, what? I was driving through the mountains where we lost cell phone coverage. I was like, no. I can see it in slow motion. And then,
sorry, you hung up on me. You don't get the job.
Exactly. Oh my God, I started dying. I was like, no. And then an email and then a voicemail. And so once I finally got into coverage again, I called him back and I was like, I'm so sorry, I was driving through the mountains. I didn't know. And he says, yeah, we're in Charleston. Didn't know if you wanted to come and play. And I was like, yeah, of course. Oh my gosh, yes. So they gave me the dates. Are you free for these dates? Yes. I didn't even know what it was for. Yes. And so I show up in Charleston and I go to this old house. There is no set deck. There's set decoration, sorry.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the street to tell us, what is this film? And I didn't know what it was for. And so I show up and there is Marian Green, another stunt legend. I'm like, oh my God. She kills Mr. Orange in Reservoir Dogs. Marian Green has been a stunt legend for 30 years. And I think, holy crap. I met her previously at a stunt, kind of stunt lecture. And we became fast friends. And she's so cool. And we just really hit it off. And so I saw her again. I'm like, oh my God, we're working together. Yay. Do you know what we're doing? No, I don't know what we're doing. No. So we are sitting at her house where she gets hit with the hammer. She's the one that gets taken out by the hammer.
Okay.
She was known as Sandwich Lady. But now everybody calls her Mrs. Elrod 2.0. Because it reminds them of the other Halloween movie where she's making a sandwich and she's got her jammies on and all that stuff and curlers in her hair. So she's now called Mrs. Elrod 2.0. And I was Trick or Treat Lady. But now everybody, the lady in the window. People call me the lady in the window or just whatever. It's been really cool how this has happened. And in the novelized version of Halloween, I actually have a little story. I actually have a little something else happens.
You've got backstory and
backstory.
everything.
It's so cool. I am called Andrea Wagner. in the
They
novelization.
named you.
I got a name. So it's really, really cool. And I haven't read the novelized version yet, but I need to, just so I can see how it happened to me and stuff like that.
And just for those listening really quick, not every character that you see on screen necessarily gets a name.
No.
To have a named character is actually a step up.
It kind of is. But they didn't put it in the credits.
Aww.
I wasn't Trick or Treat Lady in the credits. So on my IMDb, you'll see stunts, and then you'll see Trick or Treat Lady Andrea Wagner uncredited on my IMDb. And I'm like, but that was on my trailer. That was on my sides.
Yeah.
That was on my everything. I had dialogue.
Yes.
I actually had dialogue, and they didn't give me an actor credit. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, okay. But stunts, hey, I'll take it. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's all good. All right. So I show up, and here comes David Gordon Green to greet us. I'm like, oh my God. So we met him in the middle of the street. And you know what he says first? To Marion Green, he says, oh my God, I'm such a fan. You killed Mr. Orange in Reservoir Dogs. Oh my God. I freaked out. I fangirled really hard just for a second. And then I tried to keep my composure. You know, stay cool, stay cool. It's okay.
I fit in with these people.
That's
This is
right.
nothing.
That's right. And we go into the house where I die and into the house where she dies. And so in the house where I die, there's this older gentleman. And I didn't know who he was. And I was like, oh, okay, this guy kills me. Okay, that's cool. And as we run different choreography from what we wound up doing on the night at first, because we were there for a long time.
How often does that happen, that they just change it?
They changed it on the rehearsal day.
But does that happen a lot in stunts to where they're like, you know what, let's not do this, let's do that?
Sometimes.
Or is it...
You have to be ready for that.
Okay.
You really do. And that's what rehearsal days are for. If the director
so that's not uncommon. It's not...
No, you can run previs for the director and then show it to him and then come back a couple hours later and the director says, let's do this. And then you have to come up with a whole new thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what
On the spot.
On the spot.
Ready
That's
to
what
go.
the stunt coordinator does. You have to be ready for all eventualities that are going to come. So if somebody says, can you make it a little more kicky or a little bit more droppy or a little more panic or whatever, then you have to be ready to create something on the spot.
Wow.
For
Awesome.
that.
Back to the story. Sorry.
Back to the story.
Interjected a question.
So, yes. So, older gentleman. And there was different choreography. I didn't know if it was going to make the DVD, so I haven't been able to talk about it. But now the DVD has come out. I'm still not going to talk about it. No. But they did a movement. We did a movement, and then David Gordon Green says, that's a little too Jason. And I went, ding! And I said, wait. Okay, horror genre. Okay, I'm going to get killed by the guy? Which the guy am I getting killed by? Oh my God. So I start getting the clue, Yeah. I still don't know what this movie is that I'm doing this stunt for, but it's like, okay, but he's an older guy. You know? I go back to the hotel, and we had sushi that night. It was awesome. with Marian Green Hofstein now. She's married, and her husband, who's amazing, Michael Hofstein. He's a great filmmaker. But I get an email from the wardrobe person. At the bottom of the email, it says so-and-so, Halloween. I was like, oh my God, it's for Halloween. Holy crap, I'm going to die. Oh my God. So then if you look on my Facebook, you see several pictures and my Instagram of me sitting in wardrobe. And I didn't know this at the time, but when I zoomed in on pictures later, the wardrobe rack behind me was Jamie Lee Curtis's wardrobe. It said Lori. I was like, oh! When I looked back at the pictures, I was like, oh, guacamole. So just all kinds of cool little moments happened. I mean, it was great. Once I realized what the heck I was doing, I show up on the day, and I spent the entire night with Michael Myers himself, James Jude Courtney. Yeah. It was absolutely an incredible night, and we did the stunt 11 times with 4 rehearsals on the day.
Wow.
Because it was a one take. It was a tracking shot, and there were no edits, no cuts.
I was going to say, because you can only cut somebody's throat so many times.
I was perforated.
Without getting blood all over their wardrobe.
I was perforated by the time the day was over. Yeah, there's another story about that. So from the beginning of the house to house, when he runs into the kids, or the kids run into him, what the... Oh, sorry, mister. From when he walks back to the shed to get the hammer, takes out Marian Green, leaves her house, leaves the baby safe. Everybody, when he walked past up to the baby, they were, is he going to kill the baby? Is he going to kill the baby?
Yeah, I was concerned with that.
Everybody thought
too.
that. Everybody thought that. It
I
was
was like,
amazing.
no, they can't do that. That's like killing the puppy.
I know.
You never kill a puppy
Michael
in a movie
Myers
unless you really want the people to hate them.
Yeah, Michael Myers never kills children. In this one, he does kill a 12-year-old, the one that gets out with the rifle with the father when the bus crashes and they discover the bus crash.
Yeah.
But it's because he was a threat. He was holding the rifle.
Yeah.
He
didn't have a choice.
Yeah, usually kill kids.
He always has a choice, but he didn't have a choice.
He needed the vehicle.
To further the story.
He needed the vehicle, so he took out the kid. Okay, fine, whatever. He's a disposable person. Fine. So, from the moment that he runs into the kids, he walks to the side of the house. He gets the hammer out of the shed for Mrs. Elrod 2.0. And then he kills her with the hammer. He gets the signature knife. He goes through her house, past the baby, out the front door, along the sidewalk, looks at my house because I'm closing the door on him. I'm the next victim. So he comes up the stairs, walks to the window. I'm heading toward the back of the house because hi, Sally. How are you? Oh, my God, really? So people want me to reenact that scene all the time. So I'm talking on the phone. I go to the back of the house. As he's at the front of the house, looking through the window, I've got my back turned to him. I don't even see that he's there. So I walk to the back of the house, talking on the phone. He's walking around the side of my house, comes in through my back door. As I hear there's a serial killer on the loose and you better lock down everything. So I'm heading to the front of the house to lower my blinds, and he comes up behind me. Okay, once he got to the rug, I couldn't hear him anymore.
Oh, wow.
I heard the boots on the wood floor. And as I was looking side, as I was dropping the blinds, I couldn't hear anything because the rug was really thick.
So he literally snuck up
Every
on
time
you.
was a new time.
Very realistic.
Yeah, every time was a new reaction. I didn't know when he was going to strike. I knew right, left, right, here it comes. That's all I knew. And he did, he pulled my real hair. I had hands full of hair coming out the next day, and I filled the sink with my hair. And that was
totally worth it.
Totally worth it. Worth it. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it was an amazing night, and you have to take your hits, and you got to take your knocks and stunts, and you're ready for it. That's what happens, and you need to be ready to take your hits. You need to be ready to, Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings. He has a famous saying. He says, pain is temporary, film is forever.
Yeah.
Suck it up. Do it. That's my part I added.
Cool. Awesome. We are going to go ahead and take another quick break here, and we will be back shortly.
This episode brought to you by tomatoes. Tomatoes, God's curse on vegetables. It was cursed so bad that it's now a fruit of all water and no sugary goodness. Poor nasty tasting little guys. Now, back to the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are still here with Marian Sing.
Hello.
Wonderful, talented stunt actress. And we are about to get into the Ready, Set, Life, Go machine. So we are going to go back in time to hear one of our stories from set.
You want me to get in that thing?
It's a little bit cramped. I've driven it a couple of times, so I've kind of got the hang of it.
A couple of times?
Almost goes straight.
A couple of times?
I'm slowly learning how to use the brakes, so we will.
Okay. All right.
We'll figure it out together.
Hey,
You're a stunt woman.
I'm a stunt
It'll
person.
be
I
fun.
can do this. I can do it. I can do this.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump inside.
Oh, wait. Let me get my pant leg back in here. Hold on. What is this made out of? Jeez, what's wrong with you people?
It is made out of cheese. You are correct.
I thought I smelled a little aged nuttiness on the after palate.
Put on your seatbelt.
Okay, hold on.
You set the dials.
Okay.
And here we go.
I can't feel my toes.
Oh, the fume. Ooh.
Dust. Wait. Hold up. Wait.
Well,
What the?
Not my best stop.
Wait a minute. What the?
You know where we're at?
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
We are back on the set of Insurgent.
No.
This is the second film we worked on together.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And for those people that don't know, when you work on set and you have hundreds of people, typically your waiting room, or holding as they call it, is a big tent. It looks like a circus tent. Literally, it is a circus tent full of tables and chairs, and they just cram us all in there. And
Cheese balls and
we all hang out together and try and have as
mints.
much fun as we can.
Yeah, you do with what you can with the situation that you're in. Bloom where you're planted. That's what we call it.
And you were working as one of the cordonless.
Yep.
I was working as a set coordinator at the time, which means when people would show up, I would check them in, make sure everybody was there. If they weren't there on time, I'd have to give them a phone call. Where are you at? You're supposed to be here. What's going on? That sort of thing.
Yep.
And on this particular day, I had just finished checking everybody in. And as far as I remember, everybody was there. Everything was fine because there were no issues. And we had a couple of kids that were working there. I think we maybe had like 7 or 8 different kids that were working in these scenes with us together.
Why is the ground squishy right here? What was that? What?
I never understood why they planted it all in mud.
Is this kind of like, you know?
It is a farm, and it did kind of concern me that maybe there were cows that were walking around here at some point.
It smelled like cows.
And maybe they left their mark, but they assured us it was mud. So we got done, and one of the kids came over. I will leave her nameless, although she was one of the nicest actresses of her age that we've worked with.
Definitely.
Very smart. She knew French, and I think
Yeah.
she was about 10 years old at this time.
Brilliant little kid.
Homeschooled,
Brilliant.
knowing French.
Yeah, brilliant.
Never lived in France. Never
No.
been there before.
Brilliant.
And she came over to me and just started a conversation, which is not abnormal. People come over to me all the time because I check people in, and usually they're wanting something.
Yeah. Can you give me some lines? Can I say something? Talk to the
Do you
director
have any
for
more
me.
work coming up?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But she came over just to have an actual conversation. And she kind of leans over the table and whispers over me. She's like, "Hey, is that the Dauntless over there?" And I was like, "You mean that table with everybody that's dressed in black from head to toe with the guns?"
In quilted uniforms?
Yeah, that is the Dauntless. Oh, okay. And she just left it at that. And I was like, "Did you want to go say hi? Do you want to meet them?" No. And she was very shy about it. I was like, "Are you sure? Because you're saying no, but your body language is kind of saying please." She's like, no, seriously, no, I'm okay. I was like, okay. So I left it as like, I'm not going to do anything about it. So I let it sit there and just kind of simmer there for 30 seconds to a minute while she's still like peeking over her shoulder, because the Dauntless were sitting behind her from the way she was facing. I was facing them. So I could see everything that they were doing. I could see her peeking over her shoulder. And so I get up, which is not abnormal, to go do something.
Yeah, look busy.
Look busy, go make sure people are doing what they're doing, make sure people are getting the hair and makeup, whatever needs to be done at that moment. So I worked my way over, kind of zigzagging a little bit over to the Dauntless table to make it look like, oh, I was going to go get coffee. No, let's go over here instead, because I thought of something I needed to do, which was I needed to talk to the Dauntless because I wanted to introduce this little girl to these wonderful human beings.
I guess we look a little scary.
Especially to her, which, that was one other thing she had mentioned too, is she said, no, they're too intimidating.
Aww.
Which for a 10-year-old girl to use the word intimidating to me was just precious.
Smart kiddo.
So I go over to the table, and there was probably at least 6 of you sitting at the table, maybe 7 or 8 of you, just hanging out, doing nothing, because you weren't needed at set, you weren't being called for anything, you were already in uniform, you already went through hair and makeup, everything was set to go. So you did the hurry up, and now you're at the wait part of it all.
Right.
So I'm like, can one of you do me a favor? Don't matter who, I don't care who, just one of you do me a favor. And you were the first person like, absolutely. You were always ready
I'm
to
shy.
do whatever.
Little introverted, that's me, yeah.
And luckily it wasn't like moving manure or something that I needed you to do.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
So I was like, okay, there's a girl standing behind me. At which point, I think everybody at the table kind of like peeked around me as she's like kind of still looking over her shoulder. So I kind of look around, and that's when we make eye contact, and she realizes what I'm up to.
Uh-huh.
I was like, that girl is wanting to be friends with you guys. She wants to say hi, but she's feeling really intimidated by you.
Mm.
She doesn't realize that you guys are the friendly, loving people that you are.
Yay.
So all I want is just for one of you to please just go say hi to her.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm asking.
Yep.
Instantly, you jumped up in your seat. You may have tackled people in this, I don't remember exactly. You may have grabbed somebody's shoulders, sat them back down, and was like, I am doing this.
It's mine. Yeah.
At which point, she was already on her way out I'd say the door of the tent, but there wasn't really doors.
Oh, there's the flap, it's flapping.
She walked out the opening.
Mm-hmm.
The tent orifice.
Yes.
As some people call it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, at that point, you start walking her way. I start walking her way because we don't know where she went because she went around the corner.
Right.
And now we have to find her, hunt her down,
Yeah.
and then befriend her.
Right.
Which, luckily, this 10-year-old girl has a addiction, maybe? A taste for coffee?
Wow. Coffee girl.
10-year-old loving coffee. It's got to have her coffee in the morning or she's just not awake.
Which is rare in the tent. They don't have coffee for a long time in the tent.
No, and they don't necessarily have coffee for us all the time either. Sometimes it is just a luxury.
Right.
This one we actually got to take it from the wagon. They had brought in a truck. We had a truck wagon that would make coffee inside, and we just dispensed it from the truck, which is wonderful, which is where she had stopped momentarily. And so I was like, okay, she's standing by the coffee. I kind of looked away a little bit, and you were like, okay, I got this.
I got this.
At which point, I don't know what happened because I walked away. I know that at some point I looked back and saw you talking with her, and I saw that you guys were having a conversation, and she was totally not feeling intimidated. Maybe you remember some of what went on at that point, or...
Yeah, I think I just wanted to not be intimidating. I wanted to show her that people aren't always what they seem. And I talked to her about school. I talked to her about, French. And I talked to her, about how are you feeling in this? Are you nervous? Are you getting ready to do all the things? And do you want to be an actor? Do you, what do you want to do? And I don't know. I guess my main goal was to try to make her feel comfortable in this kind of stranger in a strange land kind of thing. And I hope I achieved that. I don't know if I did, but, for somebody to be afraid to talk to somebody or to go over and meet somebody and then have it be okay, and she isn't going to get made fun of, she isn't going to be belittled, she isn't going to have any consequences for being brave enough to mention something to somebody.
Which tells me you don't remember the rest of the story.
That's about all I remember.
Because after that, after you guys became instant friends, you walked her over to the table and introduced her to all the other guys and gals.
That's right.
All the other Dauntless.
Yeah.
So the core 10 of you, you introduced her to the other 9. I'm assuming all 10 of you were there.
We always stayed together.
But every once in a while someone goes to the bathroom or
coffee,
gets a snack or whatever. So, but I'll assume everybody was there.
I forgot.
Eventually, at some point, you all came back and all met her.
It's true.
And she became best friends with Alex.
Yes,
which we had talked about earlier in the podcast.
Alessandro Folchito.
Which, if you know Alex, like we said, he was Special Forces.
He was Italian Special Forces, and he seems...
And a Navy SEAL.
He seems so intimidating.
You see him, and he looks like Vin Diesel, but like 3 feet taller.
Yeah. He's really, really tall, and he's a really, really big guy back then, and he's just, and his accent, and he just sounds like, we were all intimidated by him at the audition, at the boot camp audition. And then when you get to know him, he's the softest teddy bear you'll ever know, and he's a vegetarian, and he's got doggies, and he's just awesome.
But he's a tough, hard worker.
That's right.
He's very strong and intimidating.
That's right. And he knows how to kill people. Man. He knows how to kill people for
real.
With
his bare hands.
With his bare hands and a toothpick.
With one bare hand.
And a paperclip. Yeah.
And I still remember at the end of that day, too, she had become such good friends with Alex through all of that. She came over and was like, because she knew the rules. Too.
Yeah.
She knows the rules on set.
Mm-hmm.
You do not ask anybody for photos.
Right.
Stars or background, especially if they're in uniform
Right.
and they're in costume.
Yeah.
And even if you're not in costume and you're still in the tent, they don't want people taking photographs.
Right.
So she came over and asked really nicely, which I did not have the authority to say yes or no, and I was not about to get us all in trouble.
Right.
with the powers that be.
Mm-hmm.
So I went ahead and asked one of the PAs, she wants to get a photo with Alex, is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the PA that was in charge that day was like, well, as long as you take it from like the neck up, because that way it doesn't expose Alex's wardrobe.
Yep.
Alex has no hair.
That's
'cause
right.
He's bald.
That's right.
So you're not revealing what his hair is going to look like.
Nope. No
So
plot.
It
There's
looks
nothing.
just like him on a normal day
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah.
And she may have been in her clothes and her uniform and everything like that.
Yeah.
But from the neck up, you wouldn't be able to tell. Her hair was done just like it normally would be on any other day. It was in a ponytail, just tied up. But yeah, they got a photo together, and it completely made her day.
That's so
You
awesome.
could just tell because they were best buddies. And
Yeah. Alex is really warm and welcoming, and he wants people to feel like they belong, and he's always accepting of others. And so kids especially, kids and people who are good, he just kind of has that radar on him to know when people are of worth and are really special. So, yeah, this girl was really a cool adventure for us to go through on that day, and I feel really honored that I could reinforce confidence, and that she would be able, maybe from then on, maybe she wouldn't be as intimidated by people, and maybe she would go up to somebody and just talk to them, and that was really important for me, because that could open doors for you that you don't even realize exist.
Exactly. And one thing that I loved about it too, just from the film standpoint of it all, is how realistic all of this stuff seems, even though you know you're on a movie set.
Very
With
true.
all of the costumes and the details they put into it, to have somebody walk in and be completely intimidated just by their looks.
I know, it was so crazy to me. It's like, aw. But I mean, 10 years old is still in the wonder years, you know? I mean, they still believe so much, and their imaginations are so alive, and that it actually works. I mean, movie magic works, and to watch it work like that. I mean, she's on set with us, and she sees the cameras, and she sees all this stuff, but it still works.
Yep.
I mean, that speaks volumes for CL Casting, that they picked us, and we actually fit the bill. We actually looked like we could pull it off, I guess. So that was special for me, and that was really cool. And it's really hot in this tent, and I can't believe you brought us here, but it brought back so many memories. I don't even know what to do. It just makes me want to eat cheese balls or something. I don't know.
Well, we've spent enough time here, I think.
Oh, man, we should really go see the dome. Can we do the hill one more time?
I do not want to run through that field at the sunset
No,
again.
no. The hill was horrible. The field was horrible because there were thorny bushes that we had to run through. We could not stop the run, and Jai Courtney was a freaking rugby player, and he ran like the wind, and we had to try to keep up with him. I'll never forget, we were waiting to run, and he says, "You all ready for a run?" And we were like, It was crazy.
He was a machine.
He really was. He ran out of costumes because he would tear his seams as he was running. He would literally, his seams would give way as he was running because he was running so fast.
He was like a real Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
set.
yeah. It was amazing. He was a true athlete.
Sorry, my muscles are too big.
That's right. That's right. It was really a thing to behold. It really was. And they were great. Jai Courtney was amazing, and Theo James was awesome, and I mean Shailene Woodley was amazing too. I mean, they were all just super nice people, and it was really great to spend so much time. All the time that we spent with them was truly golden time for us.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite casts, I think, that I've worked with in film. There's a couple others that I liked also, but they're definitely in my top 5 for the projects that I've worked on. But let's go ahead. We will jump back into our time machine while the rest of you go ahead and listen to this next fomercial break.
Hey, why is your seat wet?
Sorry, I get scared.
This episode brought to you by Pickles. Today's episode is brought to you by Pickles. Pickles rhymes with tickles, but pickles have never made me laugh.
Welcome back, everybody. We are about to play the game of 25 with our guest, Marian Sing.
Hello, everybody out there in podcast land. How are you?
Game of 25, where the max points, I think, is actually like 43 this round. But it'll be 25 for the main round, then you'll be able to earn some bonus points. So what we will do, we have 5 rounds, and all you have to do is name the actor or actress. And I am going to give you clues.
Okay.
And each time I give you a clue, an extra clue, your point value will go down. So you'll start with 5 points for the first clue, 4 points for the second clue, 3 points for the third clue, until you finally guess, or not guess.
Wow, I'm inept at this. Okay. All right.
Do you not want to do it? Because we cannot do it too.
If I do...
If you know you're going to be horrible, we can stop at any point and just say, like, okay,
I'm really horrible at this. Well, let's see. I don't know. Are they new movies? Are they old movies? Are they...
Oh, no, you're not naming movies. You're naming actors and actresses.
I know, but are they from older
still
movies?
Relevant.
Okay.
They're all still still relevant. They're
try.
all household names.
I'll try.
Okay, so back to the game. Edit all that up.
Yes.
Okay, so for the first round, what we are looking for is a female actress who is 44 years old and born in Culver City, California. Any idea who this actress could be?
There are so many. No. I have no idea.
So for 4 points, her first TV movie credit was in 1978 with Suddenly Love, but her first movie credit was in 1980 with Altered States. And in 1980, just to give you a heads up, she was about 5 years old, and Suddenly Love would have put her around 3 years old.
Drew Barrymore?
You are correct! Look at that, 4 points.
Thank you.
Bam, right off the bat. Hot, hot, hot.
Woo!
So, next round, we are looking for a male actor, 52 years old, from Brooklyn, New York.
There could be several of those.
Any idea? And you want to take just a random guess?
Pacino?
Incorrect.
Okay.
I think he's older than 52, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he is. Sorry, never mind.
But you only get one guess, so that was your guess.
Oh, no!
So for 4 points, first TV movie credit was in 1987 on The Cosby Show. And just to give you a heads up, he only had like 3 or 4 episodes that he was in. He was a guest star, not one of the main actors. And his first movie credit was in 1989 with Going Overboard.
I have no clue. Steve Carell? I don't know.
No. So for 3 points, he has starred in several movies with Kevin James. He has also starred in movies with Damon Wayans and Kathy Bates.
Ugh. There are tons of names going through my head, but none of them are landing. I can't even... And to put it with Brooklyn, I'm not making it land.
You want to take a guess, or should we just keep going on?
I have no clue.
Okay, so for 2 points, I am going to give you 2 quotes. 2 of his more famous movie quotes. Okay. You ain't cool unless you pee your pants. And O.J. Simpson, not a Jew. Have a happy, happy Hanukkah.
Adam Sandler?
Yes, okay. That was my best impression. I know it's horrible.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
All apologies.
No, I just
Adam.
remember You Ain't Cool Unless You Pee Your Pants because I loved that movie. It was so sweet. Billy Madison.
Okay, looking for round number 3.
You're going down, Bob Barker.
O'Doyle's rule.
Exactly.
We're looking for a male actor, 53 years old, from New York City.
Another New York. Jeez, so much talent comes from New York.
And is not anybody you have named so far.
Okay.
None of your previous guesses.
53. Gosh. Chris Farley.
Incorrect.
I don't know.
First TV credit was in 1986 on the TV series Kate and Allie. And his first movie credit was in 1987 with the movie Hot Pursuit.
No. Still no.
3 points. He has been in movies, several movies with Owen Wilson, several movies with Robert De Niro, and has also starred in movies with Gene Hackman.
Wait, I know. I can see in my head. I can.
And the several movies were trilogies.
Yes. Yeah.
Both sets of them were trilogies.
Yeah. Why isn't that coming? Jim Carrey.
No.
Oh, darn.
So for 2 points,
darn,
we're going to give you some movie quotes. This should hopefully give it away.
Yeah.
If the first one doesn't, the second one should.
Mm.
So first movie quote: Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Second quote, oh, just like it's spelled, Focker.
Oh, yeah, guy. Oh, Meet the Fockers and all that stuff. What got that? I see his face.
Starts with a B.
Ben Stiller.
Yes,
Ben
that is
Stiller.
correct. For 2
God,
points.
what? I'm so bad.
And next up, we have a female actress, female, 49 years old, from Sherman Oaks, California. Can you narrow it down?
Ali Sheedy?
Incorrect. For 4 points, first TV credit was in 1990 with the TV show Malloy, and her first movie credit was in 1993 with the movie Leprechaun.
Oh gosh, it's gosh, and she's from California. It's not.
Have you seen Leprechaun?
No, no, I haven't. It's not Jennifer Lawrence, is it?
No, but you are close.
Okay, I
So
know it's
you're
in that
getting
era.
warmer.
It's
Getting
yeah, I'm
warmer.
getting warmer.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence is not 49.
No, she's not. She's very young. She is still very young.
3 points. This actress has been in movies with Paul Rudd, Jason Sudeikis, and Jason Bateman. And I believe that all of the movies that she starred, well, not all of them, several of them that she's filmed with those 3 guys have filmed here in Atlanta.
Oh gosh, wow.
So she's been here a few times.
She's been here a few times. I don't know why it's not coming to my head. I'm so bad at these. I am so bad. Nope.
It is not Anna Kendrick.
It's
She
not Anna Kendrick. She is not 49 years old.
old.
No. She's from that same era of these other people. Nope.
Nope. Okay, 2 points. We're going to give you 2 quotes. First quote. But not me, Bruce. Just give me the boat. In the second TV quote, we were on a break.
It's Catwoman from Batman. What is her name? Anne Hathaway.
No,
No.
incorrect.
Oh, what? And you are going to tell us who it is?
Number 1 TV show she has been on for 1 point is Friends.
Oh, God. Jennifer Aniston.
You're correct.
Good
for
Lord.
1 point.
Good Lord.
We were on a break, Ross.
I can't, I hate to say this, but I never watched Friends very much.
Yeah.
I was not a Friends fan. So, yikes. Okay. Everybody can put ashes on my forehead. I'm sorry.
Let's see. Round number 5. Final round. Before the bonus round.
Oh, God.
We're looking for a female who is 46 years old from San Diego, California.
Another California.
And not a female you have named.
Okay.
And not a female under 30.
Yeah. Female under 30. God, I can't believe. Sorry, Jennifer. Wild guesses here. Cameron Diaz.
Correct.
Oh, my God.
You are correct.
Oh, my God.
For 5 points.
I know she's a San Diego girl. How much I know.
So that is 14 points so far. 14 points going into the bonus round.
So bad.
Bonus round, you can only go positive, so you can't go negative, which will be a good bonus for you.
Okay.
And what I am going to do is I'm going to give you the list of answers that we just had. So you will have a list of the 5 stars. And what you need to do is, in 30 seconds, name as many movies and productions that you can that they have worked on together. So 2 or more of them. Name as many as you can.
That people have worked, the people that you have mentioned already have worked on together?
Yes. So you have your list here. Drew Barrymore, Adam Sandler, Ben Stiller, Jennifer Aniston, Cameron Diaz.
Oh my God.
Name any projects that 2 of them have worked on together. You have, I think it ends up being 14 different options. 14 correct answers we're looking for. And you can also guess incorrect answers and it will not hurt you.
Oh, God.
And we're going to go ahead and start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start naming movies.
There's something about Mary.
Correct.
51st Dates.
Correct.
It's not Happy Gilmore, is it? Waterboy.
Nope.
No, crap. Wait! I'm trying to, God. Charlie's Angels.
Correct.
Yikes. I'm trying to think now, and it's making my brain melt.
Time is up.
I figured, yes.
3 of them.
Darn.
Which
Sorry,
is still
guys,
not
I
bad.
suck.
Not bad, not bad, not bad. So, tallying up your score, 17 points.
Oh my
in a game
gosh.
of 25,
Oh
where
my
you could
gosh.
get 43 points.
I suck. I'm so sorry, people.
Halfway there.
Yeah, okay.
We'll go ahead and take another quick break. We will be right back, and we will wrap things up with some promotions on your YouTube channel and other endeavors that you have been working on. We will be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Marian Sing, and we are going to talk a little bit more about your personal life than the business side of things, but still kind of businessy. You have an amazing YouTube channel. Where
Thank you.
You talk about fight scenes, and you also have workouts on there.
Yeah, I have had the channel for a while, and I just futzed around with it, and I've got a bunch of classic kung fu movie reenactments that are in a flip book style that I recreated. And then there are other fight scenes that I have up there. It was always in a flip book style because I thought it'd be cool. I thought it was a different way of looking at it because I saw that. Do you remember when it was all the craze to see those little flip books that had the stick figures and stuff?
Yeah.
And that made me want to do it with people, but with costumes and camera angles and cool stuff. So I came up and I got some friends together and I did like 60 different fight scenes, some of them recreations from like, Snake Eagle's Shadow and Jackie Chan movies and stuff like that, and the old classics of the Shaw Brothers, for all you Kung Fu fans out there. And then others I choreographed myself. Either some were footwork based, some were, using different weapons. They're all different, but they're all with that flip book style. And some of them have soundtracks, some of them don't, because then I got in with a copyright thing and YouTube said, no, you can't use that music. So, but yeah, those are the fight scenes. And so I hope everybody likes that. And then just my reels and stuff for acting and stunts and all that. But also travel shows. Every time I travel, I do, so people can feel like they're with me. I take them with me on my travels. So I've gone to China 3 times, but I have not yet gone through all the hours and hours and hours of footage from the China trips because that was competing in the Shaolin Temple tournament. That was taking seminars from grandmasters in many different styles. Wow. That was walking on the Great Wall and going to the Temple of Heaven and going to the Forbidden City. And I've been to China 3 times. And then I went to Morocco, Poland, Holland. I stayed with families, so it's not the touristy thing. It is staying with families, eating mom's home cooking Moroccan. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Oh, it was so good. And they basically adopted me. I was there on that travel. We started in Morocco, and I went to Morocco for a total of 19 days, in the beginning and the end. So I sandwiched it in with bookends of Morocco. I went to Holland for a week. And I stayed with a couple who I met on a cruise. And they said, you have to come and visit. All you have to do is get the plane ticket and we'll show you around. Okay. So then I went to Poland for 5 days because I had a Kung Fu student and he studied under me. And then he said, come to Poland. I'll show you around. Just get the plane ticket. I said, okay. So I visited him. And then on the tail end of the trip, I went to Morocco again because they wanted to be with me for my birthday. So I started the trip August 23rd and I finished the trip September 25th. And I left September 26th. And I got to live the life and stay with 3 different families in Morocco. And they were all Kung Fu family. We had done, it was amazing. They were Team Morocco. I got to be on the news in Morocco for fellowship across the ocean.
Wow.
With Team Morocco USA and Team USA. So it was like, what? Because I'm in Team USA for While I'm Kung Fu.
Totally mind-blowing.
Wow. I know. It was so amazing. It's so amazing. But they did contemporary wushu, and I do traditional wushu. So they did the tumbling passes and all that fast stuff, and I do more weapon specialty and traditional martial arts, which is knowing what your applications are. You know what your techniques will do to somebody. Theirs are you have to hit every corner of the mat. You have to do so many running, tumbling passes. You have to do balance movements and things like that. So we came from 2 different tribes, but we still had the commonality of love for martial arts. So they showed me around all the beautiful places in their country, and I got to really see many different cities. I went out to the countryside where there were more donkeys than cars. But there are about 23 episodes of Morocco, Poland, and Holland. Because they're short, 23 minutes or whatever. But I did do a canal tour in Amsterdam, and that's usually where I lose people. because it is not exactly as interesting as the Moroccan ones, but I still love information. I am an information junkie, so I got to see the Delta Works in Holland and how they control water, which is something we might need soon
Yeah.
because it's been raining so much. I don't know when this is going to be aired, but my goodness, we're getting a lot of rain. And I got to see, basically, I saw everything in Holland in a week. You can drive from one end of Holland to the other in 2.5 hours. It is a very small country, but this couple I stayed with took a week off, and they were tourists in their own country with me.
Wow.
And I just had to capture this. I had to capture it, and so I made a little intro, and before each travel show, each section of the video that I do, and put little still pictures, and then you just get to follow us around and have a vacation with us. So that's the travel show part.
Nice.
And then the workouts, because I train a lot of different people. I teach martial arts, and I also do strength and conditioning for a dance company. I do, personal training for people. So my little brother, who I travel with, and he didn't go on any of those trips, but we usually travel together. He said, well, you have 2 levels of things on your page. You have basic and impossible for humans. So could you possibly do something middle of the road that people can do to follow you that aren't your Kung Fu students? So I came up with a workout system that I do for the dancers, using aspects of dance and martial arts and just strength training that we do to be able to do the techniques that we do. And I put those up on my page just in case my students, when they're in between classes and can't come that week, they can do one of those workouts so they don't lose the perishable skills and strength that you need to be able to do.
Yeah.
Now, I came up with and I call it the no consequences workout because you don't get sore the next day. So you can do this workout every single day. There is no price to be paid for it. So it has always been something that I have done, except I just did it for myself and my students and the dance company that I work with. So now, I don't know, if people want to try it, they can try it. And it's non-impact for the most part, but it is, some workouts are a little more challenging than others. But, that's something that I decided to do for my students, and I don't charge money for it. I just put it up there, and, if you want to do it, and if you see a benefit from it, then by all means, join in the fun. So,
Awesome.
So I think that's everything that's on my YouTube channel, but it's Marian Sing. The YouTube channel is Marian Sing. My Facebook is Marian Sing. My martial arts Facebook is Sifu Marian Sing. S as in Sam, I. F as in Frank, U. Not seafood. Thank you. A lot of people, when they hear
CFU.
Yeah, exactly. Because people either say seafood or they say, well, F you too. Because in Cantonese, it's sifu, but in Mandarin, it's shifu. So it's,
I don't know either of those things.
I don't know what the heck
help.
you just said. But yeah, so I learned both Mandarin and Cantonese to run a class. But Mandarin is more used in contemporary Wushu. And Cantonese, for some reason, I don't know why, but Cantonese is more of the traditional. And traditional is not shared very frequently because it's, families, and you don't spread this family's secret style and all that cool stuff. But that's getting into a different aspect of my training. So Sifu Marian Sing, S-I, F as in Frank, U, Marian Sing is my martial arts Facebook page. I don't get to post on there very often because I don't have time to run a school. That's the next step in my education. Master Chan wants me to open a school. I'm chasing this dream right now of stunts and acting. So that's what I'm doing, and then I might be able to go back to it. And I don't know. I just want to continue this crazy, amazing journey as long as it lasts. And my Instagram is Marian Sing. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all Marian Sing. I'm easy to find. So that's, that's all my stuff.
Awesome. This has been such a delight.
Yay, delight.
To get down and sit and talk with you finally.
Yeah,
I mean, we've worked on so many films. And
I know.
Just like we said, it's like you don't necessarily have time to sit there and have a nice, fun chat with people. You don't get to find out about them. And
you're working, they're working,
yeah.
Everybody's working, so you don't want to be seen chit-chatting, even if it's lots of hours of doing nothing.
And some days it's just a job. It's a job, and you don't necessarily want to be there, even though it's a lot of fun. There are some days that it's like, I wish I could be somewhere else.
Well, that's another Mockingjay 2. When we spent days and days and days in that fiber optics factory waiting for that one word that we wanted. Rebels! We were waiting.
I thought you meant rap.
No, not at all. We didn't get used because they said, we're going to use you, because we were right behind the stunt people. And we were going to be used for when the rebels, the RPG and everything.
The Capitol.
Yes, and we were going to be used, but they kept filming all this stuff of the District 1 and 2 people walking down the middle of the street, walking down the middle of the street, walking down the middle of the street. Yeah. And we just stayed inside and didn't get to leave. And all day. And they said, no promise, we're going to use you today. And the whole day would go by and we didn't get used. And eventually we were
tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
No, tomorrow. No, the other tomorrow.
Exactly. And then finally, Rebels. And we heard it. And it was Brando. Brando was the guy. And he was like, Rebels. And we were like, yes. And we all went storming out because we were all wearing what Katniss wears in the District 13 Rebel Guard. Mm-hmm. That was our thing. There were only like 30 of us. And we finally got to do the thing. And it was just what we were waiting for so long. And so I didn't care at that point. It had been days of waiting. And then all of a sudden you hear your part called out and everything goes away. Everything goes away and it's time for the magic. And that made it all worthwhile to see how the stunt people did their thing. And then to be behind them and just kind of like, yes, we're doing the things. And when everybody charged down the middle of the city to when Snow was getting executed, and then, well, I don't know spoilers, but you know what happens. And we all charge in.
After 10 years, it's okay.
Okay. And then Coin gets shot, and then everybody charges Snow and tears him apart when he's tied to the stake, right? So everybody was charging in. I was leading the charge, and I had to form a wall with the stunt people so they wouldn't trample Donald Sutherland. So I got a chance to talk to Donald Sutherland. I was talking to Woody Harrelson. I was talking to all those guys because we were the first line of defense with this. I joined the stunt people in the line of defense. I stopped and I just rooted into the ground like my martial artsy stuff so that they couldn't get past me to damage principal talent.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that made me decide, I'm going to do this. If this is a way I can help and contribute, I want to do it. But that was another story that, I didn't really ever get to tell, strangely enough, because we all just held our ground and took the hit by hundreds of people who charged down the middle of that road.
Literally.
They were running so fast.
And I think there was 1,200 total.
Yes. Yeah.
Just background on set. That doesn't include stunt people and principal actors and all the crew. Yeah. And so once we stopped, it was boom, bam, 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 bam! And it got heavier and harder and harder and harder to keep them from principal talent. And, you guys kept yelling at him, you can't run at full force like that. You got to stop at some point. But I know everybody was trying to be seen by the camera. Yeah. And, all that stuff happens. But, I was talking to Donald Sutherland and I was like, I'm trying. I'm really trying. And he just said, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And I was like, I'm doing this. I'm going to do this. But that's a story nobody's heard. That's awesome. An exclusive for Jeff. Awesome. Mm-hmm. And just thank you again for being here. Thank you for being a guest. Thank you guys for listening and tuning into the podcast, downloading us. We will be back again with another episode later. Check us out in probably a couple of weeks. And we will see and hear from you later. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Thank you again to our special guest, Marian Sing. Special shout out and thanks to Addison and Jamie Lynn for all their assistance on this episode. The Above Average Show was written and produced by me. The theme song composed and arranged by yours truly. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also check out another podcast I co-host, The Extra Unordinary, and other great media content by Moon Possum Productions at moonpossum.com. If you'd like to show your support through a donation, you can go to aajoeshow.com. All proceeds will go to help support the creation of more great shows just like this one.